Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith. This is all about inspiration. This is how to spot a professional editing job. I made this tutorial because I'm absolutely driven nuts by jump cuts. What are jump cuts? Jump cuts are when somebody just does a poor job and then they jump over here and then they cut some stuff because then they couldn't think of something and then they do something and then they cut and then they cut. I stopped watching two really popular music guys because I can't take it anymore. Some of them can't even speak a whole freaking sentence without cutting it up into multiple spots. I can't do it. I don't think it's that difficult to take your production up a notch and your performance on camera, like I'm doing right now, where you're speaking with full ideas from beginning to end, and to edit them so that they're seamless. And I noticed this because I was watching something on a channel that I watch, which is Reverb, great channel. And it struck me on how smooth everything was, because you are a storyteller. And if you're interrupting your story with jump cuts all the time, it's like you have an air horn every single time and you're jerking the viewer. Don't do that. Watch this instead. So a shout out to Michael Lux, who's the video production and strategy manager over at Reverb. I reached out to them and asked them if I could show this particular video because this is right from their channel, and I'll put links down there for you to look at more of Michael's stuff. But I just asked him, I said, look, can I show this? This is great. So we don't all have multiple cameras. I mean, I'm on this camera, and then my B-roll is my screen. They're using 3 cameras here. They're using a wider shot of him, a close-up of his hands, and then there's a side shot, 3/4 shot that they cut to. So we don't always have those options, but you can still make a good edit. So let me take you through. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll just point out some parts. So here we go. So right away, the music started before the picture, and we just were captivated by something. Now that we're seeing what it is. So the first was a teaser. We're jumping in, we get some fingers, and then, well, what are we watching? All of a sudden, hey, we're watching Joe. And we pop out and we see him perform. Oh, back in.
Hey folks, Joe here at Reverb.com today.
Now, did you notice that L cut? I showed L cuts before. Do you notice that his voice started speaking while we were still on the hands? Let's go have a look at that again.
Hey folks, Joe here. Hey folks, Joe here at Reverb.com today.
Now, he may or may not have been talking, or that might have been cut. That's a great way to hide a jump cut. He's great, and he talks nice full ideas without having to stop and edit it. But sometimes when you have to cut, you can add those in there. So let's keep going and watch how let's just watch it.
Today we are checking out some riffs in the key of Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, if you don't know, was an immense influence on the history of rock and roll. Born in 1915, she was highly accomplished, even at a young age. As a little girl, she would be singing and performing in the churches. She went on to accomplish such wonderful things, including being the first gospel artist to cross over and record secular music. Artists like Elvis Presley.
So I love this because, well, several reasons. First of all, notice how they didn't blow up the first clips. These are really low resolution clips, low quality, but they left them in a black background. Very simple. There's not a lot of flash here because this imagery speaks for itself. It's a throwback, so it doesn't need anything else. And then when you go to a larger picture, that picture fills up the screen, but it also has just a little bit of movement. Hey, if you've got a big high resolution image, why don't you put a little bit of movement? All that is a little position or scale, or position and scale. It just gives it a little bit of that movement.
Be singing and performing in the churches. She went on to...
And you notice there's a slight difference in his tone. She went on to. Let's listen.
The churches. She went on to...
Now, he very well could have done that naturally, or that could have been another hidden jump cut. Because maybe while he's speaking, he talked for 45 seconds. When the editor got it in there, he thought, you know what, this 5-second piece, we don't really need that. You chop it out and you hide it because you got some B-roll to look at here. Simple things, but it's not the damn air horn.
To accomplish such wonderful things, including being the first gospel artist to cross over and record secular music. Artists like Elvis Presley.
So you're trying to keep things visually stimulating, and you're also directing the viewer to what you want. You're the editor, you're controlling them. So when we pop out of the images, now we're more interested in what he's talking about
Johnny
now.
Cash, Carl Perkins, these guys referred to her as the godmother of rock.
This is a standard, like a documentary kind of thing. We popped out and just the right moment, and this was the side shot, and it refreshes our eyes, and then he talks about something else, and then we're popped back into it again.
And the original Soul Sister. So her influence, I think, really does speak volumes. And
we're not even 1 minute into it, and there's all this beautiful work being done. And as a viewer, you're sitting back and you're engaged. There's all this rich information, and it's Joe on camera with some vintage video and some still images. Beautifully done. All right, I want to jump over to a section here where he talks about slides.
this too. Sister Rosetta had a really cool energy about these slides when she did them. They were you could see her left hand just kind of like aggressively banging into these slides. And it's really cool to watch her doing that. From 4 to 5, we're sliding.
Now, I guarantee you from 4 to 5, they cut stuff up. They tightened it up. And that tightening, it just makes things move along. There's no ums and ahs. How can you tighten that? There's no jump cut because you're on B-roll. Listen to how it's beautiful.
You can see her left hand just kind of like aggressively banging into these slides. And it's really cool to watch her doing that. From 4 to 5, we're sliding.
And from 4 to 5 is actually occurring when the B-roll is still on there. And it's helping us bridge into that. Those are L cuts. Let's look at some more. And then the rest of this is him showing these riffs. It's beautifully played.
Slide into that twice. And then we're sliding up to this shape. 9th fret on the G string, 8 on the B string.
So you see that little thing right there? All 3 cameras were rolling and the editor had a choice. So the editor, when he looks at you and he says that very specific thing, just like I'm doing right now, I'm going to put me on, not a mouse sitting on there on a screen. I get to come at you and force you to listen to me. So that the editor says, wow, that's really important. Let's stop looking at the fretboard. Listen to him. All right, I got that now. It's what you would do is if you were sitting in the room with him and he was teaching you. And it doesn't matter whatever he's teaching you. Painting, knitting, whatever.
And then we're keeping our middle finger there and putting our ring finger up on 10.
Okay, there's some more L cuts here. 757. Oh yeah, here's another great use of titles.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Very subtle. You see the title of the chord that he's playing. Listen to the L cut.
Now, I'll play the progression.
So you heard him say now before we cut to him.
Now, I'll play the progression.
And his arms are in a different place, but it's hidden. There's no jump cut. And they also trailed off the guitar sustain underneath that. So this was a technique that my daughter, who's a great editor, I remember she critiqued me one time, just because the scene cuts and the audio cuts doesn't mean that you have to cut the audio. You can trail the audio in just a little bit, and it helps blend those two together. And it's same again, around 9, there's another, a great transition here.
I hope you hit some of those riffs.
So you can see he's not even in the same position.
I hope you hit some of those riffs.
But it's not alarming. It doesn't take you out of the storytelling. You're just watching him play. There's just enough focus on the history of this amazing story. And when we go to that wider shot, when we go to that side shot, and back and forth between all 3 cameras, and then the B-roll. This is quality editing. So my challenge to you is to make stuff this good. I know I'm challenging myself all the time so that my performances are good. You know what I just did? I threw away a 1-hour tutorial that I shot because I sucked in it. Yes. It hurt. I lost sleep last night, and I woke up this morning and said, I refuse to have that to go out. So I threw away 1 hour of a shoot that I did, and I wrote some extra notes for myself and redid it because I care, because it makes a difference. So I want you to care. And don't give me that, hey, old fart, YouTube is like no, it isn't. YouTube's no different than film and television. It's moving pictures and sound, for crying out loud. You're a storyteller. Tell me a story that moves me, and not an air horn that jerks me around. So thanks again to Michael Lux. And like I said, head on over to Reverb. They've got so many amazing videos in there. And if you're a musician, have your wife take your wallet away, because they have some vintage gear there that is, oh my God, is so delicious. You'd want every one. Okay. Hey, if you're new to Video Revealed and you found this inspiring and informative, take a moment and subscribe. You want to support us some more, you can do that on VideoRevealed.com, on our store, at the shop there. You can donate once or monthly. Thanks to everyone who does donate and sponsors us. We really do appreciate that. Till next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job to take the air horn out of your hand and get you to edit much.